Here in Seattle, it's Arizona quickly down 5-0. You see who is on the court for both of these teams. Greg, both clubs depending heavily this season on some very prominent freshmen.
Yeah, and so they've had the growing spurts in terms of the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, but the consistency starting to show itself here as we get near conference play.
Arizona has been off since last Saturday. A victory against Clemson. This is Nick Johnson. Gary Bell Jr., one of the highly touted freshmen for this Bulldogs team, up the floor now to Pangos. Spiravitas, Greg Anthony, our entire CBS crew from Key Arena in Seattle. Mike Hart into the corner for Pangos, still 17 to shoot. Pangos for Bell, a corner three. Weak side rebound taken by Nick Johnson. Johnson, all kinds of athleticism at the open floor, fouled from the back. As Arizona still looking for its first points. And there is Mark Few, no introduction necessary. 322 victories in 13 seasons in Spokane.
One of the very best we have on the collegiate level. Not just a great coach, a great teacher, and he has to do a lot of it this season, having true freshmen starting in the backcourt.
Two freshmen and a former walk-on in his starting five. Johnson, nice lead bounce pass for Jesse Perry. Had a good look at it, couldn't finish. So nearly 3 minutes complete. Arizona still scoreless. Bell, the spin move, no good. And a rebound by the Wildcats, Perry. This is Jordan Mays. Had an excellent finish to his year last season. Offensive foul. And the basketball belongs to Gonzaga.
A great slide in to take the charge there. Mike, you have to be willing to sacrifice there and accept that hit. That's great help defense there.
Gonzaga playing about 300 miles from their home arena, but boy, have they traveled well here to Seattle. Excellent atmosphere here at Key Arena. Early 5-0 lead for the Bulldogs. This is Sacre inside for Elias Harris. Pump fake finishes, and a chance at a third point.
And what a nice play by Sacre. You know he's going to get the help. He finds Harris inside. He's strong enough to take the hit and get the finish. And I tell you what, he's come out with great energy here early on, knocking down the three to start the game, and there where he does most of his damage on the interior.
Harris, the junior, born and raised in Germany, had that exceptional freshman year, then suffered a bit of a sophomore swoon last year. But a quick start today, has 6 of Gonzaga's first 8 points.
And Arizona right now in desperate need of something to go through the basket. Trying to quiet this crowd.
Angelo Chol, the big freshman from the Sudan, has come in for the first time. And now the officials change their mind. They say last touch by Arizona. There's Sean Miller, year 3 in Tucson. And how quickly he has turned this program around. 30 wins a year ago and a trip all the way to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, terrific performance by him as a coach. And this group, you know, a lot of people with high expectations, but again, with the youth and inexperience in the backcourt, it's been a process. But up until this point, they were definitely heading in the right direction.
Harris, very definitive with his offensive moves early on. Offensive rebound by Hart. And an over-the-shoulder layup to make it 10-0.
And that was one of the concerns for Sean Miller. They went with the small lineup to start the game. They've been hurt on the interior. That's why Angelo Chol checks in, but unable to get the job done in securing that backboard.
Turner got it back, finds Hill for the corner three. Kevin Parent takes the rebound away, passes out for Fogg, and the shot clock resets. Arizona missing its first 5 shots. Hill attacking Sacre. Fight on the glass, and it's taken by Harris. 4.5 gone by, 10-0. Pangos, rim to rim, and it's 12-0.
What a tremendous feel the young man has. There he read Sacre clearing out the lane, and he knew he could, if he could just turn the corner, he could get there and get the little soft floater off the backboard.
This is Hill. Arizona just can't find the bucket. Harris down low for Sacre. Around the perimeter now to Kevin Pangos. Gonzaga looking awfully comfortable here at the start. Harris trying to stretch the defense, and what a start for Harris. Miller wants another timeout.
Wow! How impressive have the Zags been here early on? This is as good a stretch of basketball as you're going to see played in the country. Look at the effort by Hart. The extra shot there, gets the finish. And then in transition, Pango able to get to the rim. I tell you what, Gonzaga really bringing the noise here early on in the first half.
A busy week in college basketball around the country. Jared Sullinger, leaving Ohio State's game today with a foot injury, no fracture listed as day-to-day. Billy Donovan, that 3-year extension, but once again, Sullinger dealing with an injury.
Yeah, but you know, it's impressive when you look at how Ohio State has performed in his absence. South Carolina playing much better basketball, yet they're down at halftime, able to come back and win without the big fella. That
Mata winning his 200th career game in Columbia this afternoon. Arizona 0 for 7, still scoreless, down 14-0. This is Kevin Parham. Nice hesitation dribble, left-handed finish, and a much-needed bucket as Arizona finally gets onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, the patience there. Nice job of coming off that pick and roll. The hesitation, he takes the contact, able to finish up over the top. Let's see if that gets Sona going. And Spiro, Elias Harris, not necessarily known as a three-point shooter, but I tell you what, he got the game started off with a bang. And this is where he does his work, down on the interior, physical and gritty. And once the confidence starts to flow, now that mid-range, that basket looks like the Pacific Ocean as he knocks it down, getting the Zags off to a great start.
Harris, the junior from Germany, 8 points, 3 for 4 from the field. And Gonzaga off and running here in Seattle, 14-2. As Josiah Turner, one of the freshman studs for Sean Miller, will try to complete the three-point play. Turner has had a couple of run-ins with his head coach. Late for a shoot-around, suspended for the Florida game just recently. When you talk to people around the program, they say that Turner's a great kid, obviously gifted as a player. I feel he's got a huge future in Tucson.
Oh, he does. And oftentimes when you come in with all the hype and great expectation, and you have to understand that you're going to be playing against men on the Division I level. And how about Elias Harris putting on a show early on?
Gonzaga 7 of 12 from the field have built a 14-point lead. Harris coming into the day averaging 10, making 12 points. He's got 10 already. Shot clock at 17. This is Jesse Perry. Sam Dower into the game defending. Perry, nifty left-handed reverse, and it's 16-4.
And if you're Gonzaga on that possession, tremendous individual effort by Perry, but they had to work. Unable to really get into an execution flow offensively is Arizona early on. Zags playing some of the best defense I've seen them play in the last couple years.
Gonzaga ranked as high as 19th in the country. That's the AP poll back in late November. Coming into today, 6-2. Pango styling up a 3, too strong. Dower. Physical rebound. He'll head to the free throw line with 13:08 left before halftime in a 12-point game. Look at a sports fan on your list. CBSSports.com shop has officially licensed NCAA gear from over 500 schools and 3-day shipping on every order. It's all at shop.cbssports.com. Spiro Ditas, Greg Anthony, our entire CBS crew from Seattle. Pac-12 against the West Coast Conference. Mentioned Gonzaga 6-2, Arizona 7-3. Wildcats entered the year ranked 16th in both polls. Were as high as 15th in the AP poll as Dower is at the free throw line. May be, Greg, the most formidable pro prospect currently on this Gonzaga roster.
Yeah, terrific skill set. Just needs a little seasoning. And, you know, what a luxury to be able to bring him off the bench if you're Mark Few.
Nick Johnson back into the game with Solomon Hill. Kevin Parham also on the floor, and Kirill Nagyasko in for the first time. Bullet pass, Hill to Parham. Shot clock at 17 seconds. Parham. tough three from the corner. Now, David Stockton into the game for the first time. Son of Hall of Famer John Stockton. Outside. This is Guy Landry-Eddy making his first appearance of the year after serving an 8-game suspension. Marquise Carter in for the first time. Shot clock at 11. Stockton bounce past the Dower, steps middle, and Harris having his way with this Wildcats front line.
And it started with that three-pointer early on. And again, a concern for Arizona. Could they control their defensive backboard? Here early on, they have not been able to. And then offensively, they have not gotten into a flow. The passing just a second late. And again, you see the tough contested shot forced by the Zags.
Dower missing his first two. Here comes Carter. Knocked out of his hands, but a reaching foul against the Wildcats. As Arizona being blitzed here at the start in Seattle. 15-point lead for the Bulldogs. Early score favoring Gonzaga, 19-4, and already Arizona having all kinds of issues defensively.
And it really starts, Sparrow, with their ability to feed the post. And if you take a look here, when they get that ball inside, defensively, you got a drop right there, and Arizona doesn't. That's going to leave an excellent opportunity for Elias Harris to attack that offensive glass. It starts with the post defense. You cannot allow Gonzaga to catch it that deep, because that breaks your interior defense down. Better defensive pressure out on the perimeter would help.
Well, Harris already matching his season average. 12 of the 19 points that Gonzaga has scored. We saw Patrick Young of Florida really take it to this Arizona undersized front court just recently. And once again, a versatile big front court doing damage against Sean Miller's front line. This is Marquise Carter at the line. 11:48 to play, first half. Sean Miller's side desperately trying to keep it remotely within striking distance.
They're trying to find some flow offensively. It just has not been there. Really nothing easy for them on the offensive side of the floor. You really got to credit Gonzaga for the job they've done defensively and really the lack of patience shown by the Cats here early on.
Arizona 2 of 11 from the field. Nick Johnson, very quick first step. Hasn't been able to find the bottom of the cup, and here comes Carter. Bulldogs with Stockton, Carter, Landry-Eddy, Harris, and Sam Dower. Stockton, that prototype backup point guard, just getting Gonzaga into their sets. Very consistent.
And how about 4 bench players in the game for Gonzaga here early on? The only starter being Harris, but that's the kind of depth. And the interior passing again, Sparrow. The high-low action. Beautiful feed there by the big fella, Sam Dower.
Harris has 14 points, and it's 22-4. Solomon Hill cross court for Perry. Nadjasko has the size, still more of a perimeter big man. Perry along the baseline finds Mays for the little offering.
Tough shot by the young fella up over the defense.
Mays, the sophomore from Los Angeles. Johnson the steal. Up to Mays to the rim and finishes with the left hand.
And that's what you need if you're Arizona. You got the backup backcourt in the game. You want to try to up the ante intensity-wise defensively, create some turnovers and get out in transition.
Mays has been the starting point man for Sean Miller in 8 of their first 10 games of the season, entering today. Stockton for 3. Rebound fought for, taken by Carter. Harris feeling so comfortable. And the rebound by Nadjasko. Was past the midway point of the first half. 22-8 Gonzaga. Solomon Hill. And a rebound by Landry-Eddy. Bulldogs quickly mushing tempo. Carter fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
And that's a great example there of making a solid basketball play by David Stockton. It's just a quick kick ahead. You know, it's nothing on the statistical sheet that's going to show that, but it gives your team an offensive opportunity in transition because he's got his head up looking to make a play for a teammate.
Well, Arizona short on big man. That's the second personal on Perry. So Carter misses the first. You see their leading scorers on the season. And so far, a slow start for their key players. Kyle Fogg still scoreless.
And that's interesting. Not only is he scoreless, I don't know that he's had a field goal attempt. And that's part of the problem when you have such a young and inexperienced backcourt. You really find out where you are when you face adversity. And here, struggling early on, they've gotten a little bit out of character. They've gotten out of rhythm offensively. Sean Miller just needs them to settle down and get back to executing.
Well, Arizona has been in this position before. That overtime loss at Florida in Gainesville, they were jumped on early before coming back and forcing overtime. Johnson around a screen, sets up Solomon Hill at the rim. And there you see the open floor ability and vision by Johnson.
Yeah, great execution, little flex offense there, and they finally get the penetration and find for the finish.
First time these Gonzaga fans are getting a look at D. Landry-Eddy, young man born in the Ivory Coast, raised in France. Serving that 8-game suspension after spending time in a French pro league at the age of 15. TV's top dramas are on America's Most Watched network, from NCIS to The Good Wife, CSI to The Mentalist, only CBS. $8:55 to play, first half here in Seattle. Spiro Ditas, Greg Anthony, our entire CBS crew with you. Arizona down big early, trying to fight their way back. Johnson. Boy, his first step is incredible. This is Fogg in the corner. Hard all over him. A manly rebound by Nagyasko, then blocked inside by Sacre. This is Bell. Up to the rim, blocked and fouled. And free throws upcoming.
How about Robert Sacre? He comes out of nowhere for the rejection. And this is one of the areas I think Sacre can become better. All that takes is that's an effort play by the big fella. The senior coming over, providing the help defense. The quickness, the bounce, getting off his feet. Not allowing the basket there for Arizona.
Sacre, the senior, born in North Vancouver. Such an engaging kid.
Yeah. We had the chance to spend some time with him at practice. He was busting my chops a little bit about my brown. You know, it's giving me hard. I thought it was a nice hat.
I thought it was a nice hat, too.
Thank you.
We did like your sweater.
He did like the sweater.
That's right. So Bell hits the second free throw. His first point today, and it's 24-10 Gonzaga with 8:23 to play before halftime. Solomon Hill, bottled up by Sacre. Bad pass stolen by Bell. 3-on-1. Right back to Bell, who finishes at the rim. His first basket of the afternoon, and it's 26-10. At this rate, Sean Miller's going to run out of timeouts. Biggest lead of the day for Gonzaga, 16 points, with 8:09 to play in his first half from Seattle. Bulldogs winners Thursday night at home over Oral Roberts. Arizona's been off since last weekend, and Greg showing some rust.
They are, and it's interesting. Mark Few was concerned about this game because they just played a really good Oral Roberts team that will be in the tournament. He said, hey, Greg, they had 6 starters back. And what a tough game for. They were able to prevail down the stretch, and he didn't know if they'd have enough, but boy, do they ever. They have tremendous energy here in this game.
Kyle Fogg completely bottled up by Gonzaga early on, as that ball knocked out of bounds, last touch by Turner, and will belong to Gonzaga when we come back. Well, you see what we have been getting so far today. All Gonzaga in this game. Their biggest lead of the afternoon now, 26-10, as we welcome you back to Seattle. Spiro Ditas and Greg Anthony, we touched on it earlier. Both teams kind of looking for an identity. I think the Bulldogs have found it.
Yeah, one word for me, intensity. They really have gotten after it defensively, but then they've been able to convert 50% from the field. They've gotten 6 offensive rebounds on only 10 misses. Impressive thus far early on by the Zags.
7:47 to play in the first half. Elias Harris has been the story for the Bulldogs, has 14 of Gonzaga's 26 points. Gary Bell Jr., the freshman, around a screen from Sacre. Now Stockton. Traveling violation. Ryan Spangler, the freshman out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, good job on the post defense on that possession for Arizona. Never allowed Sacre to get a clear look, and it really rattled Gonzaga on that possession.
Arizona has shot 5 for 20 if you've just joined us. Perry maneuvering at the block. A couple of head fakes blocked by Spangler. Perry a second stab at it, finishes at the rim. And it's 26-12.
Now they score there, but again, it's a lot of one-on-one basketball for Arizona here early in this game. They have not allowed the offense to create opportunities for them.
Pangos into the corner for Bell. Pangos for three. Now Spangler making an impact just off the bench. Bell drive, sets up Sack right now at three from Pangos. So Gonzaga cooling off finally. Here comes Turner. Boy, lightning quick up the floor. Too strong with the pass for Angelo Chol and a turnover.
Yeah, here, terrific effort to come up with the block by Spangler, but then how about Jesse Perry staying with the play and finally getting one to fall for the Cats.
Perry, the senior, out of St. Louis. One of the top rebounders in the Pac-12. Trying to hold ground for this undermanned Arizona front court. Bell down low to Sacre. Gary Bell pump faking. Shot clock at 16 seconds. Harris 14 points today. Into the corner for Hart. Bell for three. Scramble for it underneath. Perry the rebound.
A real good opportunity for Gonzaga. They never recognized Sacre down low. He had position wide open, unable to get him the basketball.
Wildcats down 14 points. Johnson. Johnson still looking for his first field goal. Here comes Kevin Pangos. 5:21 to play first half. 26-12 Gonzaga. A nice defensive move. Sacre though gets the loose ball, steps middle and finishes and builds on the lead.
Everything going well right now for Gonzaga. Good defense flipping it away from Pangos, but ends up right in the hands of the big fella.
Foul 5 into the corner for Johnson.
And that was one of the best looks Arizona's had all game. Offensively, they execute good screen down on the baseline, able to knock down the three.
First three of the day for Arizona. And it's 28-15. This is Harris taking Perry on the dribble drive.
Oh my goodness!
Is volleyball spiked out of bounds by Chol.
How about Chol? He said enough of that, Mr. Harris. Not in my house. Goodness gracious. And, you know, credit also Jesse Perry there with being able to sustain his position defensively. Didn't allow Harris to really elevate.
Angelo Chol, born in the Sudan, escaping that war-torn country as a child. Amazing story, finding his way to Tucson and Sean Miller. Harris trying to reach around with the pass underneath the Dower. Misses, but Hart is there to clean it up. And it's 30-15 Gonzaga.
Offensive rebounding. Winning all the loose ball battles are the Zags here in this first half.
We hit the 4-minute mark before halftime. Arizona down 15 points. Turner. was an incredible handle, knocked out of bounds, and Arizona will maintain possession when we come back. All Gonzaga here in Seattle, 30-15 with 3:50 to play before halftime. And coming up, AT&T at the half. Tim Brando, Seth Davis getting caught up on all the latest scores and highlights on a busy day around the country on AT&T at the half. We mentioned Arizona's issues defensively earlier. Greg also struggling at the other end.
You know, and early on, some of these shots, you know, you take a look at them and you say, well, that's not a bad look. But remember, what the difference has been, the defense's ability, Gonzaga that is, to disrupt the timing and the spacing and the rhythm of Arizona. So that's why those shots are just a little bit off. And again, credit the Zags for what they've done on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, Gonzaga second only to John Wooden's legendary UCLA teams. 11 consecutive conference championships in that West Coast Conference. Had a chance to catch up with Mark yesterday at Gonzaga's practice. Built a very special bond with Wooden in the final years of John Wooden's life. Wooden would always go watch Gonzaga, Greg, whenever the Bulldogs would play in the LA area. And after every time he'd watch him, he'd give Mark a handwritten note. His thoughts in the game. And so they would talk frequently. Wooden, the coaching hero of Mark Few. As the call here inside against Arizona. And Gonzaga gets it back. The Wildcats just cannot get out of their own way.
They really can. And, you know, it's interesting you talk about Mark Few. I mean, there's no reason to think they won't get 12 consecutive because they're going to be the favorites, one of the preseason favorites to win the WCC again this season. Although the conference is going to be much improved. BYU coming over, Santa Clara, you know, obviously going to be solid as well. But St. Mary's, a solid basketball. West Coast in general, I think the basketball really starting to get back to where it was a few years ago.
Sam Dower on the 1-and-1 hits the front end. It's incredible that Gonzaga was able to come back and win a share of that conference championship last year, Greg. They had to win 10 of their last 11 after that sluggish start to claim a piece of the championship with St. Mary's. So Dower misses the second. 3:30 to play first half. 31-15 Gonzaga. Turner sets up Hill for three. And a rebound by Dower. Arizona 1 of 11 from deep. Bell dials it up at the other end.
Great vision by Pangos there in transition. Off the long miss by Hill. They get out, they fill the lanes, and he's able to find Bell.
Biggest lead of the day for the Bulldogs at 19 points. Jordan Mays trying to take hard off the dribble.
Points in the paint, really the difference in this game. Zachary here able to finish, and then Harris on the offensive glass. And then again, the fight down there by Hart. 16 points here in this first half in the paint. They've already outscored them with points in the paint. 30-18 now overall. More points in the paint than Arizona has in the game.
So the Wildcats inbounding, fresh 35. Here's Johnson trying to take the rookie. Pangos, nice little turnaround bank. Nick Johnson, so athletic and such a gifted player. Brings Arizona within 17 points. But Gonzaga still looking dominant. Mike Hart, the former walk-on, Johnson all over him. With the shot clock at 16. Pangos finds Dower. Canadian-born point guard blocked partially by Joel. And Gonzaga will have 4 to shoot. Monday, Dave's all new with Tom Cruise and a special top 10 from presidential candidate Mitt Romney. And catch Craig Ferguson, only CBS. Already you can see what Angelo Chol has brought to this Arizona team. Some much-needed shot blocking ability. Shot clock down to 1. Bell nearly falling out of bounds. Chol the rebound. Here comes Jordan Mays. Fogg running the wing. Up to the rim, and finally Kyle Fogg able to find the cup.
One of your leading scorers. You definitely want to get him involved offensively. He's the one consistent three-point threat Arizona has.
Arizona, one of 3 Wildcats, averaging 11 points per game. Minute 50 left before halftime. Gary Bell across the paint. got himself in trouble. Perry the steal. Excellent pass for Johnson, taking flight. Nick Johnson cuts the deficit to 13 points. Timeout taken by Mark Few.
How about the body control by the young fella? Terrific play. And then here in transition, turn out great body control there by Favre to avoid the charge. And then Nick Johnson looks like a wide receiver getting out in the open floor, floats it, finds it, and finishes. Zona showing some heart.
As you take a look, Greg, at some of the surprise teams around the country.
I tell you what, John Thompson III's really got Georgetown going. To me, the most impressive team in America has been Missouri. They have been dominant thus far early in the season. Virginia, great start as well. And Bruce Weber has really got the Illini playing some good basketball. Impressive win over this Gonzaga basketball team last week.
So here in Seattle, Arizona down by as many as 19. They've reeled off 6 straight. As we get contact here, Pango's bumped by Josiah Turner. But you said it during the break, Arizona needing to disrupt some of this Gonzaga offense and create some turnovers.
They really do, because they have struggled in the half court to create scoring opportunities off their offense. And so, therefore, you're going to have to try to turn Gonzaga over and get some opportunities in the open floor. And Mark Few has talked about it. They've really struggled at end of halves early on in the season with turnover and shot selection.
Well, Kevin Pango's trying to continue this lineage of great point guards out of Gonzaga. Tell us about the block.
Well, he's streaky from beyond. We've seen that, but more from within. I'd like to see him do a little more penetrating. He's starting to do it now, and then seasoning. He's just going to get better with each and every game that he plays.
So Pangos hits the second. And with 1:20 to play before halftime, Gonzaga with a 15-point lead. Johnson out of 5. Shot clock at 19. Jump pass, backdoor. Turner couldn't finish. And then Hart stepped out of bounds. Fans thought he was pushed. Arizona will get a fresh 35 with 62 seconds left.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there. But Turner unable to finish. But you're not going to get that call. That's not enough really to warrant a foul by the official.
Fogg inbounding to Johnson. And Arizona resets. Perry. Sandwich between Sacre and Harris. And here come the Bulldogs. Harris, the fast start is quieted down. His pass underneath deflected out. Bell controls. Now to Harris.
Wow. He is, if he's making those, Phil, he's unguardable. He's knocking it down from beyond the arc.
17 points, and Gonzaga's lead is 18. Johnson had it poked away. Perry recovers. Fogg, a nice fake. Too strong. And now Pangos and Gonzaga can hold for the final shot with 10 seconds left. Sellout crowd here in Seattle, all standing as Gonzaga has been dominant. Down to 1 second. Bell for 3. Ready to blow the roof off this place as Gonzaga will take an 18-point lead in a halftime. And that's the end of the first half with your score. Gonzaga 39, Arizona 21. We now go to New York and Tim Brando. Well, wow. Sean clearly impressed with what he's seen so far from Mark Few's team.
You know, you can talk all the X and O's you want. At the end of the day, it comes down to competing. The fact Gonzaga played 10 guys in that first half, all 10 got at least 1 rebound. So that tells you that they're bringing the pain from an intensity standpoint and activity standpoint.
They've out-rebounded them. They have been the physical team in the paint. As we take a look at our Lexus first half stats, Gonzaga simply dominant.
And really, it's all about the rebound. It's the paint. I always tell people there's a reason why they put 3 seconds in the paint, because ultimately that's where games are going to be decided. That has clearly been the case here in the first half. And then the one guy who set the tone, ironically, from beyond the arc, as he hit his first shot with the 3, but then he got back to doing what he normally does. Elias Harris down low. You know, I go back to his freshman year when he burst on the scene. He was a dominant force on the interior. He really did set the tone for them here early on in this first half.
Harris, 17 points in 17 minutes. Had hit 2 threes all year coming into today. And has hit a couple of them in this game. What a showing in that first half, as Gonzaga with possession looking to build on a double-digit lead.
I expect a little more intensity from Arizona here in this second half. I'm sure Coach Miller had a word or two for his young men.
Mike Hart, the former walk-on, now to Pangos. Gonzaga 6-2 coming in, a Thursday win at home over Oral Roberts, setting the table for today. Gary Bell misfires, Hart keeps it alive, and a fresh 35 for the Bulldogs.
What did Coach Miller talk about at halftime? The intensity. The intensity. Loose ball battles being won by Gonzaga. They're just far more intense here in this first half.
Well, Harris just out-muscling his way to the rim. He's got 19 points, biggest lead for the Bulldogs. Mike Hart a minute ago, his 5th offensive rebound today. Nice dribble drive and finish right to the rim by Kyle Fogg. Fogg averaging 11 points per game coming in today. Greg, just 4.
Yeah, they have not integrated him into the offense, which has hurt them from a spacing standpoint, because he's the one guy that stretches the defense.
This is Hart for 3. Fogg maintaining possession, a minute 30 gone by. Arizona in an 18-point hole. Perry will hit the 3 from time to time. Rebound there by Sacre.
Good defensive transition on that possession there for Arizona. You got to keep Gonzaga in the half court. They shoot it too well. They pass it too well to give them the easy looks.
Harris misfiring for 3, then Sacre the easy putback dunk. And it's a 20-point game. Sacre, Gonzaga's leading scorer, coming in 6 points today. And Sean Miller will burn a timeout.
Elias here, great post position. He's got a mouse in the house. Able to finish up over the top, and then sometimes the ball just bounces your way. Robert Sacre in the right place at the right time with the finish. Zags by 20.
Penetration, blocked underneath. Cavalry, got it to go. Gonzaga once again has proven they are legit. It's Goodson. Oh! Dimitri Goodson! That's it!
Well, Gonzaga, some of their signature wins over the years for Mark Few's program. Some of the other Cinderellas around the country. Jim Larinaga, of course, moving on from George Mason, but the Patriots off to a 7-3 start.
You know, not a bad find getting Paul Hewitt. I know he's a former assistant at Fordham.
Yes.
Butler, big win. You know, that game today for Butler may get them back on the path to playing some excellent basketball. They tend to start slow, folks. VCU, Shaka Smart. Remember that vintage Final Four run from a season ago?
Shaka Smart, one of the young, bright coaches, of course, around the country. That incredible run in the NCAA tournament last March. So just over 2 minutes gone by here in Seattle, second half. And Arizona in a 20-point hole.
And if you're Arizona right now, you're not really focusing on the score. It's just about, let's start executing. Let's just start getting some type of rhythm here on the offensive end, taking care of business defensively, and see if we can get back into the game.
Well, tomorrow on Survivor, it's down to 3 tribal councils and 2 suspense-filled hours. Don't miss the season finale and live reunion show tomorrow, only CBS. See the rebounding discrepancy in this game. The paint has been owned by Mark Few's Bulldogs. Vic Johnson, highly touted freshman, bottled up for most of the day. Solomon Hill setting up Turner for 3.
And that's one of the first times Solomon Hill looked to penetrate for someone else. You know, he's really forced it a little bit, I thought, in that first half. That time, the penetration forces the help, and then the nice find for the deep.
So 5 points for Turner, the freshman from Sacramento, cutting the deficit to 17 points. Gary Bell on the wing, defended by Turner. Sacre stepping out, shot clock at 14 seconds. Sacre. Bell, nice pump fake. Sacre falling away, and he'll step to the free throw line. Well, Arizona 7-3 coming in. All three of their losses very close against some very top-level competition.
I tell you what, that Mississippi State team, one of the big surprises of the season thus far. San Diego State as well. They lost 4 starters from last year, but I tell you what, Coach Fisher's got them playing some excellent basketball. We know how good Florida is returning that backcourt. They had a great run in the tournament a season ago for Billy Donovan, who saw a nice little extension this year for the Gators.
This is Mike Hart, shot clock at 20. Here's Pangos. Fight for it at the block. And the possession arrow favoring Sean Miller's Wildcats.
You know what? The intensity a little better here in the second half for Arizona. And they're just trying to, find something positive, something to get them going. And it's going to be tough because while both their guards are very talented, talking about Turner and Johnson, neither really a true point guard. And so it's going to be a little bit more of a learning curve for them and this team at times. You can see them play inconsistent.
Well, this is finals week, or was finals week, for both of these teams. Coaches in college always a concern for them at this time of year, trying to juggle academics and basketball. Arizona off since last Saturday, so they have the advantage. Gonzaga had to play Thursday night as a whistle blown here against the Bulldogs. And we will get a timeout. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball continues after this message and a word from your local station. Murray State, of course, that improbable run through the NCAA tournament a couple of years back, 2010. Solomon Hill, who has had an off game to say the least at the free throw line, just 2 points, has missed 6 of his 7 field goal attempts. Well, coming Wednesday to Showtime, it's a game of honor from the classrooms in West Point and Annapolis to their military training and on the football field. Unprecedented access to see what it takes to be a cadet and a midshipman. Find out what makes the Army-Navy game one of the greatest rivalries in sport. It's a game of honor Wednesday at 10 Eastern, only on Showtime. Kyle Fogg, a brief rest back into the game at the 15:55 mark of the second half. And Arizona down 43-28. Arizona just 3 free throws attempted all day. This is Elias Harris. Start today for the Bulldogs. Pangos bottled up. Look out. Between Turner and Yasko.
You know, he had an opportunity to attack here. We talked about on his blog, his more from within. And you watch when he turns his corner. As a point guard, you get in the lane, you want to be able to make that pass in traffic. Now, he does draw the foul. But as a point guard, your bigs are going to be more aggressive to the rim when you can get in there, force help, and find for the easy.
Pangos, the freshman, Canadian-born point guard. At 16 years of age, Greg, he joined the Canadian senior men's national team. What a background for this young man. Scored 33 points and hit 9 threes in just his 3rd game as a collegian earlier this season.
Starting just to play with more poise. He can get lights out from beyond, but really it's his ability to set the table for his teammates as the season progresses, which is going to determine how successful a season the Zags have.
Johnson.
Now he's got that mid-range. He can come off that pick and roll and knock it down from 15 feet with consistency.
9 points for Nick Johnson. It's 45-30 Gonzaga. Gary Bell against Turner. We hit the 15-minute mark of the second half. Can Arizona claw their way back? Shot clock at 10 for Mike Hart. Pangos a 3. Harris a one-handed rebound and a fresh 35.
Just working a little harder. And in all fairness, Arizona really, that's been the Achilles heel at times all season, the inability to control that defensive backboard.
13 offensive rebounds for the Bulldogs. Wild shot by Pangos. And possession maintained by Gonzaga. Tomorrow at 60 Minutes, the new threat from the Great Recession, plus Meryl Streep on 60 Minutes tomorrow, only CBS. We're in Seattle, Key Arena, Spiro Dedes, Greg Anthony, our entire CBS crew with you. Gonzaga 45, Arizona 30, 14:27 left in regulation. Gonzaga inbounding. They've got Pangos, Landrietti, Gary Bell, Harris, and Dower. Arizona with Fogg, Chol, Turner, Solomon Hill, and Kevin Parent. Fogg to steal. Beautiful lead pass for Turner. Freshman unable to finish, but he'll shoot free throws. And you slowly start to get the sense that Arizona is finding its groove defensively.
Yeah, their first wave of defense has improved in terms of their ability to take away opportunities for Gonzaga. They just have not been able to solidify that backboard. They're with the turnover and able to get out in transition, though.
On December 31st, not only is it one of college basketball's fiercest rivalries, it's a top 5 showdown as Rick Pitino's 4th-ranked Louisville Cardinals visit Rupp Arena to meet John Calipari's 3rd-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Great group of freshmen, of course, for Kentucky.
Oh, wow. I tell you, it seems they get better every year for Coach Calipari. Anthony Davis just special. And remember, they bring Terrence Jones back from last year's Final Four team.
And Rick Pitino and company continuing to get it done despite the injuries. Landrietti, nice find for Dower at the rim.
What a beautiful post feed for the big fella. Hits him right in rhythm, able to turn and finish with the left hand.
David Stockton on for Gonzaga now defending the point against Turner. Turner, a little bit out of sorts on the shot. Fight for the rebound, knocked out of bounds, and it belongs to Gonzaga.
And Spiro, we've seen it all game, really, for Turner and also Johnson. Just, you know, they're hesitating just a little bit, the little bit of indecision they're showing. Again, it's still a work in progress as they try to really define and learn that point guard position.
It's a program, of course, still trying to replace their departed star, Derek Williams. 2nd overall pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves, of course. Here's Dower, low block.
Oh. Wow. That's how you get time there, big fella.
6 points for Dower, 13 minutes remaining. And Arizona down 17. Hill inside to Parham. Corner 3 from Turner, wide open. Hill the rebound, now Gasco. Shot clock resetting. The Ukrainian import stepping middle for the nifty little hook shot. 15-point game. Hill sneaking past the defense. Now the Bulldogs reset.
And you talked about the loss of Derek Williams. Don't forget about Momo Jones in the backcourt, who they were counting on.
Momo Jones making the move to New York.
A lot of offensive production lost off of this roster. Derek Williams, boy, did he come on like gangbusters last season. Just a dominant performance the second half of the season.
Like Sean Miller's Arizona team to a 30-8 finish all the way to the Elite Eight. So they were defeated by the eventual champions from Connecticut. But Greg, as you know, when you depend on one star, you know, sometimes it takes a while to build after that guy leaves. So dependent on him, he's so impactful in every facet of the game.
Yeah, and that's what the coaching staff talked about, how important it was going to be for guys now as their roles change. You know, you have to become comfortable with the new role. Guys are going to get more opportunity offensively. They're going to also have more responsibility, and sometimes that learning curve can be painful as you're trying to adapt to the new role.
Landrietti can't convert at the line. This is 5 for 3. And suddenly it's a 12-point game. 7 for Kyle Fogg. Whistle blown away from the ball. Dower knocked to the floor by Angelo Chol. At the 12-15 mark in the second half.
And if you're Sean Miller, you don't mind that foul because of the effort on this play. A little bit of contact there.
Fourth team foul against Arizona, first on Joel. Shot clock at 35. They inbound now. Stockton has it. This is Marquise Carter. Carter against Jordan Mays. Stockton thought about a long three, 13 to shoot.
Arizona's defensive intensity has really improved here in the second half.
Landry short. Rebound Stockton. Fans imploring the Bulldogs to back it out and reset, and they do.
Yeah, again, the second shot opportunities for Gonzaga. And Arizona just unable to secure that defensive backboard.
That was the 14th offensive rebound taken by Gonzaga. Gower, and he'll head to the free throw line. Well, Arizona down by as many as 20 has cut into 12 here in Seattle. 5 straight points for Arizona, cut the deficit to 12 points. Greg, take us through the AT&T fast analysis.
Well, let's take a look here. Elias Harris, who has been the dominant player in this basketball game for Gonzaga. You notice here at the elbow, there's going to be a lot of attention being paid to him. But keep an eye on the freshman, Sam Dyer. He sets the screen, and you're going to see Guy Landry come off in a beautiful post feed here. Look at how he's able to hit him in rhythm with the pass. Allows him to turn right up into his shot and finish. That's what we call terrific offensive execution by the Zags.
Sam Dyer showed tremendous promise a year ago as the redshirt freshman. Big guy, hits free throws at a very good clip, 81% a year ago. Hasn't had many opportunities this season, but once again, they've talked about the prospects that this young man has at the next level.
And one thing I've always loved about Mark Few coach teams is just to see the progression of his players from their first year on. You know, that's, as a coach, you always look at young men and you project what they could potentially be. No one does a better job in America, really, at developing his young talent than Mark Few.
Well, if you've just joined us, Gonzaga had a 20-point lead earlier. Before Arizona started to show some signs of life. Now down 14 points. Brandon Lavender, who we did not see in the first half. Rebounded by Stockton. This is Landry his first ever game with Gonzaga after serving his 8-game suspension earlier this season. Gower, double teamed, it didn't matter.
How about the pass by David Stockton, looking a lot like his dad, John Stockton, who wore that Zags uniform. Look at that finish by Dowd with the great hands. You talked about his prospects for the next level. The hands, the ability to catch in traffic, take the contact, and still finish. Impressive play there by the young fella.
Third foul against Joel. Greg, I know it's a young team. They start 2 freshmen and a walk-on. How good can this Gonzaga team be? You think back and we project to March. If they can get in, it's a dangerous team.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that you'll see them in the postseason. Terrific team. Again, they're continuing to show the growth. And I tell you what, if Elias Harris continues to bring this type of impact to the game, then you're talking about a special basketball team, because I think he is ultimately going to be the key. Pangos, obviously, Bell, freshmen in the backcourt, they're going to have ups and downs. They need that leadership from their veterans to really come out and set the tone.
Whistle blown against the Bulldogs here. It's against Marquise Carter. Last 5 tournament results for Mark Few's program. Last year finishing in the second round at BYU. Some very tough draws that they've had over the years.
Unbelievable. Remember that UNC team, I should say, won the national championship that season. So they really have been tested in the tournament.
Jesse Perry out. Now Jordan Mays will reset with 10:23 remaining. And Arizona down 16 points. Jordan Mays, the sophomore from Los Angeles. Boggs pass stolen by Harris. No one back deep for the Wildcats.
Wow.
Elias Harris, a season-high 21 points. It's an 18-point game. Mile 5, a huge three for the Wildcats. So 15-point deficit, still plenty of time, 9:40 remaining.
Big basket there for Arizona. Just when Gonzaga starting to really exert themselves again after the beautiful steal and finish by Harris, Fogg finally starting to get into the offensive flow.
Fogg now in double figures after a very quiet start. He's got 10 points. Shot clock at 11. Carter for Harris. Oh, you know you're feeling good when you shoot a hook over a double team. Here comes Fogg.
Sparrow really been impressed. Perry knocks down another three. Been impressed with Gonzaga's post feeding, their ability to feed the post. Although Harris doesn't score on that last possession, they're doing a good job of getting the ball in the interior, which has been their advantage here in this game.
Well, say what you want about Arizona's shortcomings. They will not give up a fight. 7 for Perry. It's a 12-point game. This is Gower. Rebounded by 5 with 8:39 remaining. Arizona, we should point out, just one timeout left for the rest of the game. Solomon Hill backing down Stockton and is called for the offensive foul.
And Solomon Hill, you just got to be a little smarter. You got the mismatch. Just be a little more patient on this play. And not a lot of contact, but again, that's just the play where you know oftentimes a young guard, or smaller guard I should say, is going to try to maybe flop, pick up the offensive foul, so you just want to have a little more patience down on that block.
Where did Stockton learn that move?
Yeah. He's seen that performed a time or two.
John Stockton also has a nephew that plays for Seattle Pacific here in town. Harris into the corner for Gary Bell. Back to Stockton. Such a fundamentally sound player. Bell for the corner three, rebounded by Solomon Hill.
And a lot of time left in this game if you're Arizona.
12-point Gonzaga lead, just under 8 minutes remaining. Johnson setting up Perry for the left-handed finish. 8 straight for Arizona. It's a 10-point game. Timeout taken by Mark Few.
And you gotta like the way now they're starting to move the basketball. Is Arizona finding their teammates, playing for one another here. Beautiful penetration, forcing the help. Nice finish by Perry. Arizona getting it going. 9 points for the senior.
As many as 20. And what a job by this young Wildcats team, clawing their way back now to within 10.
And they've really done it defensively. Again, they're still struggling at times on the backboard, but they are doing a much better job of forcing contested shots for Gonzaga.
Arizona ranked as high as 15th in the AP poll this season. Gonzaga was at 19 in late November. Both searching for a pivotal December win here in Seattle. Bell swatted by Perry. Sean Miller with Turner, Johnson, Nyasko, Perry, and 5. Johnson has set the table for his teammates. Perry pivoting to the rim. Bad shot. Then Nyasko blocked inside. Harris lost it out of bounds, and the Wildcats will retain possession, much to the dismay of this capacity crowd. Arizona's defense poor early. Different story here in the second half.
Yeah, Jesse Perry there coming up with the block, and then ill-advised shot here by the senior, trying to get it up, create the contact. But finally, Arizona gets a break in terms of coming up with the loose ball as they are making a run. 10-point game.
Let's take a look at the state of the game summary here in Seattle. 55-45 Gonzaga. But the Wildcats with 8 unanswered points to cut into this deficit as we take a look at some of the numbers.
Yeah, but I give Arizona a lot of credit because defensively the intensity has been upped here in the second half. They've done a much better job. They've defended the three the entire game well. Gonzaga's only knocked down 3 of those. The question, though, will they have enough? Can they show the poise down the stretch and get the quality looks that they're going to need to get back in this game?
Can they continue this push and come all the way back?
I think they can. The question is, can they make good decisions? Because now you're talking about with Johnson and Turner, 2 freshmen, neither really a true point guard, that will have to figure out a way to make sure everybody stays involved and active on the offensive side.
7 minutes remaining. Here in Seattle, this is Josiah Turner. Out of Perry. Harris clogging up the baseline. Shot clock at 1. Johnson doesn't recognize, and they turn it over.
And that's an example right there, what we're talking about. A point guard, a natural point guard understands. Remember, we're coming out of a timeout. So you have to have that clock in your head. At the very least, get that opportunity at a shot, which gives you a chance maybe at an offensive rebound.
7th turnover committed by the Wildcats. Some light full court press by Sean Miller's Arizona side. Johnson, press defense on Pangos. This is Mike Hart. Out of Bell. Sacre double team, had it deflected. Harris has it off balance, and why not?
Just always in the right spot in this game. Elias Harris coming up with the loose ball in the finish.
Season high 23 points. Turner, meantime, continues to struggle, and here come the Bulldogs.
And that's not the shot you want right there. So 2 possessions out of that timeout for Arizona. They get a shot clock violation and poor decision with the 3-point shot.
Turner now 2 for 6. Pangos. Bell feeding the big fella, Sacre. Now Gasco on his back. Stepping middle, and it's an offensive foul on Sacre. They say that he cleared out with his off arm, and it belongs to the Wildcats.
A little frustrated there by the big fella. He definitely led with that right elbow. Picking up his 2nd foul.
Sean Miller pumping guys in and out. Perry and Turner take a seat. Jordan Mays and Solomon Hill back in. Spirididis, Greg Anthony, our entire CBS crew from Seattle. 5:39 remaining. And Arizona down 12 points. Fogg around the screen, pump faking. 10-point game.
And that's an example right there. Again, great offensive execution, bringing him off that pin down, and then the delivery by Johnson in rhythm.
So 12 points for Kyle Fogg, the senior, with 5:16 remaining. Fogg said he took 40,000 jump shots during the offseason. And that hard work is starting to pay off. Bell bounces down low to Sacre, 9 to shoot. There's been a different defensive team for zone in the second half. Sacre, everything but the finish. Harris tips it in.
Wow, I tell you what, everything you wanted there defensively for Arizona. They forced a tough shot there by Sacre, but unable to keep Harris off the backboard.
25 points, 8 rebounds for Harris. And it's 59-47. Fogg stopping dead in his tracks. Short rebound, Sacre. Bell thought about it. And now Gonzaga will run that clock. Hart against Mays. Now Pangos. Gonzaga, such an intelligent team, using all 35 of those seconds. Pangos. A picture-perfect possession for Mark Few's Bulldogs. Free throws upcoming.
Take a look at Sacre here. Beautiful footwork. Unable to get the finish, though, but there's Harris just keeping it alive. How quick he was on that second jump, I should say. And just a terrific basketball game he's played here for Gonzaga.
Pangos 6 points, 6 assists in this game. Kyle Nadgasco will sit. Picked up his 4th foul. Jesse Perry back in. As Arizona now running out of time. 4 minutes left, down 12 points.
And if you're Arizona, it's one of those games they really have not done much of anything as well as they're capable of. Yet you look up, they're still there. They're fighting. They're competing. So that's something positive if you're Sean Miller you can take with this young basketball team as they start preparing for conference play.
Pangos hits the second, makes it a 13-point game. Jordan Mays straightaway three. Arizona just will not go away. 10-point deficit now. 7 for Mays. As we will get a timeout here in Seattle. 3:44 remaining. New Year's Eve action for you. Our game reset here. Sean Miller taking his final timeout a moment ago. His team down 10 and trailed Greg by as many as 20.
And he didn't really have a choice in terms of the timeouts. Remember that way the game started 14-2 early on. This thing was getting out of hand. He did a good job of just managing the game to give his team an opportunity to where we are here, 3:44 down 10. There's enough time, and their defense has definitely improved here in the second half. Can they procure the backboard on the second shot?
A 5-second violation on Mike Hart. Suffocating full court press from Arizona. So both teams back to their benches. Arizona still showing life here in Seattle. Game reset here. Sean Miller and Arizona down 10. They're out of timeouts. 3:44 remaining. It will be Arizona inbounding with a fresh 35-second shot clock.
Critical possession, obviously, here. And not necessarily just to score if you're Arizona. It's more important that you execute and get a good look. That'll keep your confidence up and keep the intensity on the defensive side.
Arizona using an 8-0 run to get back into it earlier in the half. Nice up and under reverse play by Jordan Mays. It's an 8-point game.
You know, that's a great feeling for Sean Miller, for his kids to come out of that timeout and execute that play flawlessly here with the pressure on.
9 points for the sophomore from Los Angeles. This is Kevin Pangos, the freshman. We come up on 3 minutes remaining. Bell. Pangos attacking, blocked by Hill. Knocked out of bounds, and it will be Arizona basketball.
How about the effort here? Now, Solomon Hill does enough just to not allow him to turn the corner. Uses his size to come up with the block shot.
Crowd slowly standing. 2:50 remaining, an 8-point Gonzaga lead. Johnson. Solomon Hill the rebound and a foul. Arizona can get to within 6.
Not the shot you saw Sean Miller after Nick Johnson took that shot. Didn't really want that one, but credit Solomon Hill. How about the last 2 possessions? Defensively, he comes up with the big block shot, and then offensively, Johnny on the spot to get that offensive rebound. And a chance at 2 free throws, stopping the clock here for Arizona.
Hill hit some huge free throws late in Gainesville to push that game to overtime. Gets the first one here. It's a 7-point deficit now. Closest Arizona has been since the 16:41 mark of the first half.
And Spiro, this is character time. As a coach, this is what you really work for, to put your team in situations like this, to see how they respond when things get tight.
Sean Miller will trade offense for defense now. Nadjasko in for Hill. Gonzaga 60, Arizona 54.
Mark Few going with 2 point guards here down the stretch, 3-guard lineup to try and handle that pressure of Arizona.
7 straight for the Wildcats. Again, keep in mind, Arizona has no timeouts left. Stockton. Pangos, beautiful setup for Sacre.
Wow, I love the execution, the pick and roll. Beautiful delivery by the freshman to the senior for the finish. Big basket for Gonzaga.
8-point game. Johnson. The freshman dialing it up, a long 2. He's got 7, and it's a 6-point game. Minute 50 remaining. Well, you can sense the restlessness here. Sellout crowd, obviously pro Gonzaga. Jesse Perry called for the block way out in the front court.
And how about Kevin Pagels here? Comes off. Look at the hesitation and beautiful delivery there. In stride again, about hitting him on rhythm. And then here, a little hip hugger by Jesse Perry.
So this will be a 1-and-1, a minute 40 remaining. 9th team foul against Arizona. And Pangos an 85% free throw shooter.
And really impressed with his poise. Hadn't shot it well here in this basketball game. 1 of 8 up to this point. But he does have the 7 assists, only 1 turnover. 1 of 9, I should say. And that's really what you want. There are going to be nights when you don't shoot it well, but you still have to continue to execute and give your team quality possessions down the stretch.
But what about his demeanor? Nothing about this kid tells you he's a freshman.
Well, I'll tell you, the experience he had playing up in Canada on the national team, you know, playing with older players, it prepares you for this moment. He is definitely not afraid.
Turner setting up Mays short for the 3. Rebound Pangos. Minute 25 remaining. Gonzaga with possession and an 8-point lead. Solomon Hill reaches in, and this will be a 2-shot foul on the 10th team foul against the Wildcats. Thursday on CBS, what if you could stop a crime before it happens? These two heroes can. Emmy winner Michael Emerson and Jim Caviezel star in the new hit drama Person of Interest. Thursday, only CBS. Gonzaga trying to push its record to 7-2. Looking to make it 2 straight after they had lost a couple in a row. Trying to stave off this pesky team from Tucson. Late stages, second half. 10 team fouls on Arizona. They're out of timeouts and down 8 with a minute 21 to play. 2 free throws coming up for Gonzaga.
And I'm impressed, really impressed with Pangos and Stockton down the stretch. You know, this is where, as a coach, you're really trying to get that trust of your team, and he's getting it. Pangos hadn't shot it well, as we talked about. 7 assists, only 1 turnover. Executing the offense flawlessly, handling the pressure of Arizona, because they had upped it from an intensity standpoint, but Gonzaga continues to execute for the most part here down the stretch.
Now the lineage of great point guards out of this program, no secret.
And of course he misses the free throw.
Well, this kid could very well be the next one. Again, not a great shooting day, as Greg pointed out, but has been such a floor leader today in the entire season as he misses both free throws, and a loose ball foul against Gonzaga.
Yeah, you stop the clock there, and it's hard to fault the effort of Harris here, because as a rebounder, you're always trying to go after the basketball. But credit Arizona there with good positioning in terms of blocking out. And wow, stopping the clock here. Nick Johnson with a chance to make this a 2-possession game, which means now you don't have to foul.
1-and-1, hits the first. Johnson is 69% free throw shooter. He's got a dozen today.
Spiro, it's important too for Arizona if he can make this, because you're already in the double bonus. You don't want to have to foul, and with a minute 20, plenty of time to just play the defense and try to come up with the stop.
Johnson hits the second. It's a 6-point game. Minute 19 remaining. Sacre bottled up by Perry. Turns and will take a timeout. Oh, these fans having to sweat this one out. $1:15 remaining in a 6-point game. Game reset. Arizona down 6, minute 15 to play. Sean Miller, no timeouts.
He is coaching, though, without the opportunity to get the timeouts. He's been fortunate. You get the 2 missed free throws when you're in the double bonus by Gonzaga. And his team is starting to really bring it. He talked about it at halftime, the effort lacking. You know, Gonzaga clearly the more intense team. Not the case here in the second half. The Cats have definitely brought it.
Couple of young teams today, both laden with underclassmen stars. Sacre to Stockton, up to Pangos. He's got real estate. Harris inside. Boy, it's been his day. 8-point game.
Gutsy play by the freshman, but an excellent delivery.
Harris with 27 points. Johnson. Bad pass. An Arizona turnover.
Nick Johnson saying the ball was deflected. The officials say otherwise.
Harris's career high is 31. Arizona has had no answer for him today. Just burst out of the gates with those 14 lightning fast points in the first half. Kind of quieted down a little bit in the middle part of the game, but strong finish to close his day.
And he's been there when they needed it. You know, coming in at the start, he brings that energy. You know, they go out 14-0, and then when things kind of slow down for him offensively here down the stretch, he comes up with the offensive rebound, the tip in for the putback, and there in transition, able to finish off the feed from Pangos.
Well, Mark Few told us yesterday, talking about how excited he is to see what this team can become. Coming of age before his very eyes as they close in on their 7th win of the season. 9-point lead, 41 seconds to play. Josiah Turner, blocked by Sacre, and Harris has it. Oh, Arizona gritty, fighting to the end, but they'll run out of time. Barring a late collapse here by Gonzaga, Pangos with free throws.
And I'm harping on it, but it's the decision-making by Pangos. You know, it's oftentimes with young players, the way they play the game is determined by how they shoot the basketball. And for him to be as poised as he's been down the stretch on the day when he struggled to make shots really is going to be a huge positive boost for Gonzaga moving forward.
Well, when you're a star point guard from Canada, you always hear the talk about Steve Nash.
Oh, yeah.
Pangos already has heard the whispers of his potential. Bit of a delay here with 27 seconds remaining.
And what's important, though, you got to always focus on the score. It's not about what you've done to this point. If your team has a chance to win, it's about what you do moving forward. And that's what's been impressive, really, by Gonzaga, because let's give Arizona credit. They really made a strong push down the stretch. But the poise shown by that young backcourt for Mark Few's group, really, really impressive.
This will wrap up a very tough week for these kids. Finals week with their academics. You remember what that week was like at
Come on, man.
UNLV.
You know I was a jock, a dumb jock.
Final five with the runner late.
No, it is. It's always a tough stretch because you start looking ahead also for conference play. So at times this is one of the more difficult parts of the schedule because it is hard at times to keep that focus.
18 seconds remaining. What an atmosphere here in Seattle today. Lead pass Hart. Will reset with 9 seconds to play. Sacre fouled, 3 seconds on the clock. So Gonzaga will go to 7-2. The Wildcats will fall to 7-4. Arizona, of course, still a player in a down year for the Pac-12. Another team with loads of potential. Greg, if they could just kind of figure things out, continue to gain this experience.
And I think Arizona's fine. I mean, you look at the 4 losses, all the quality basketball teams, all to teams that are going to be in the tournament. So those are good learning opportunities for a young basketball team moving forward. And again, the advantage Sean Miller has, he can show his kids and talk to them about the importance of improving moving forward.
Elias Harris, the star, season high 27 points.